Okay, now we are live.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so hello, Diana. It's a pleasure to have you here in the UNESCO Center for Peace Camp. My name is Iker Sugasti Lopez. I am from Mexico City. I am a law student at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, or Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico. I study law. I'm in my last year of studying. Maybe it's not my field about app developing because I've never have the curiosity of developing an app, but I think that your presentation was very insightful for anyone that is interested just by curiosity or actually does care about app developing. Well, I'm an app user like everyone in our generation. So many tips that you said about what to do with an app or what not to do with an app is like, yeah, we to analyze better the apps and how we can use them. Also, like the security tips that you gave were very insightful. And well, I would like to start the interview with some questions. Some of the more interested, I think that we can all be interested in, even if we are not like um, engineers in electronics or app developers. You mentioned the use of AI, the artificial intelligence in apps. So I really don't know exactly what you can make with AI. So I want to know how accessible is it? Like if I want to develop an app with the tools I have, if I can access artificial intelligence, how much can I do with artificial intelligence? I mean that maybe the response is like infinite things, but how are like the most common things? And the cost, like is it very expensive to have artificial intelligence in an app?
Okay. Thank you for your question. With artificial intelligence, you can do a lot of things. And for me, the most important thing is that you apply artificial intelligence to understand and to predict the behavior of the user. So when you do that, you can fit the application according to the necessities of the user. So you can use artificial intelligence, for example, if you have, for example, an e-commerce. Let's say take an example in e-commerce, and if the user want to look for something, you can just personalize the results of the research using artificial intelligence. So you can show results that are more appropriate for that specific user. And all of these personalized options are available if you have behind the software artificial intelligence. Also, another option is to use artificial intelligence for chatbots. I don't know if you have heard about chatbots. Chatbots is something that is very useful to contact the customers or to solve questions to the customers in the right way. So artificial intelligence help us to understand the text of the users and then try to give a response according to what the person is texting, and you don't need a real person for that attendance. So this is some kind of example where you can apply artificial intelligence. So the main idea is to try to do more personalized applications, and artificial intelligence also reduce the operation or the quantity of personnel that we use in our company. And regarding to the cost, if you don't need like very expensive applications. The only thing that you know is the right tool and great developers, because great developers make this special code to train the intelligence that is behind the software. So for me, the most important thing is to have great developers. And I mean, developers, of course, are kind of expensive, but with the result that you have, with the benefit for artificial intelligence, it's really worth it.
Okay, so it actually reduces the cost of an app because you don't have like manpower or operational costs because AI does it for you.
Exactly.
Okay, very interesting. Also, well,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
yes. Well,
Okay. Thank you very much, Dana. Yes. Okay, it's my turn. It's
yeah.
what I love about the app development process is that it seems like anybody can do that right now, right? Even people that didn't go to school. I remember 20, 30 years ago when I was learning G Basic, GW Basics, and Fortran and Pascal and all, you name it. We did a lot. It was so complicated. Only the best mathematician will go and do coding. It looks like today everybody can do coding. I just want you to tell us from your perspective, how do you end up, in this field? Okay, I want people to know a little bit about you. I know how you ended up writing code and be an expert on the field. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, you are right. Nowadays we have a lot of tools that make to developers an easy task. I mean, they just with some clicks they can just open a web page, and you don't need to know coding, because there are a lot of platforms that they do that do it for you. For example, we can have Wix, which is a platform where you only upload image and text, and they make all the application for you. So nowadays, and for example, Amazon has a lot of tools as well to facilitate the development process. So I can say that no matter if you don't need to go to the university to create an application, you only need like the energy to and some kind of mathematics knowledge, I can say. If you want to develop artificial intelligence, you need some of mathematics. But you don't need to be a super expert person to develop a basic application. So, according to my experience, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I have to study a lot to to create application. But it was like in the past, like 15 years ago. But with the knowledge that I got from the university, I really understand how to develop application properly, and I just can lead a team of developers to tell them how to develop a right application. But if you want to just deploy a web page, or if you want to deploy an application, and if you want to test your idea, you don't need to be an expert. You only need to research the tools that are available in the market, because there are a lot of tools that allow you to develop that kind of application very quickly. As I say in one of the part of my presentation, you need to know what are these technological solutions available in the market, and just understand how it works, and try to introduce the tools in your developing process. But right now you have a lot of tools. You can reduce the amount of investment and the time that you invest for developing process. So the idea is to take advantage of all these tools, and you don't need to be an expert. This is the message. Just do some like some research, and apply the technology that is available for us.
Okay, the other part was that how did you end up doing coding? Because I know it wasn't in our time. Very few ladies were going to that field. How did you end up in this field?
Okay, no, I'm telecommunication engineers. So from the beginning, I really love the technology world. So I start I start with learning about security. That is something that is very important. But I have the opportunity to join in a project when I was working for a bank. That project was the creation of a digital bank. So in that project, we had to do a lot of development. So I was so interested in that process, and okay, I realized that okay, this is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that I really like to do, and I just dive in that world. And in that period of time, I have to study a lot. I have to uh, talk with a lot of people to understand the best practices of development, for example. And I have to research about what was the top language in the market to see what should be the language that we should use in our application. So I think I did that step because I found a great project. So when I found that project that I really love, I just say that okay, if I like that project, I will do everything I need to make that project successful.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Garcia, she's yours now.
Okay, yeah. Well, talking about projects that you like to work is what is a favorite app you have developed or project you have worked in? Like the one you said, like this one is the one I want to keep in my memories.
I
The
have to,
highlight.
I have to, as I say just a couple of minutes before, one of the projects that I have in mind is Neki. Neki was the first digital bank in Colombia, and I really love that project. It was great because, as I say, it was the first digital bank, so we have to introduce a lot of new technologies that we never have applied before. For example, we use face biometric recognition for the
Oh,
login process. So it was something that was very new in the market. So no one, no any company has this kind of technology implemented at the time. So it was a challenge for us because we don't have like this kind of copy paste. We have to
yeah.
create that
And
the
with
the
six
settings
biometric,
exactly. And
not an easy
biometric,
login as you recommended us.
yeah. So I really enjoyed that project because I have to do a lot of research with customers. Because when you are creating a service that doesn't exist, this is more challenging for you
Of
because you
course.
don't have like a reference, Also, the second project that I want to mention is the project that I'm working right now. This is a platform that we want to create for medium and small companies. This is like kind of e-commerce for companies, and this is something that is very new in our country as well. So it's kind of challenging because you don't have like a lot of reference as well. So you have to create, you have to ask the consumer about their needs, and then you have to try to come up with something that is useful for the market. But at the end, you don't know if that is working or not. So
Okay.
yeah, this is my Tux project.
Okay, cool. Good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So my hope is that at the end of this program, that after the 2 weeks, maybe together as UNESCO Center for Peace team and the people that are interested in that, maybe we could join together and it will lead us into developing an app that we could use in the future. That would be amazing. But my next question again, it goes back to you explained to us how you ended up. It's almost like an accidental thing. You was not, you never decided to, oh, guess what, I want to be a developer in the past. Thing just happened. And I want to ask you, in your field, what's the disparity between men and women? The people around you, how many women are involved? And the question I'm asking, that after you tell us how many men and women are in the process, what is the message you'll give to the little girl, maybe in Querétaro, a place I've visited, or maybe in Cucuta, in somewhere in Colombia, or somewhere in Chang, in Cameroon? What will this little girl now they're looking at this? Oh my God, is it possible for me to do something like that? What the message will send to them? But these are very remote places.
Okay. First of all, this is not really a no, but there are really few women involved in this engineer field. I mean, in software and coding, there are few engineers. For example, in my company, we have around 90% of the engineers are men and 10% are women. So in my case, it's kind of
wow,
strange.
The gap is huge.
Exactly. So yeah, this is true, and I have had also some other experience where I don't find more than 89%, sorry, 10 or 15% of women joining in this kind of project. So we have a huge gap, but my objective is to try to invite more women to this field. And the message that I can tell you is like, this is not something that is like very complicated. And this is something that is really amazing. It's very, you can do a lot of things for your customers. And I think that this is one of the careers that are the future career. So it means that we are like in a digital revolution period, because we can do a lot of things only with one application. And we can just have a lot of things that we can digitalize right now. So the opportunities in the market are huge. And if we code and if you learn how to code, you will have a lot of opportunities around the world. This is a career that you can apply wherever you go, wherever you are. So if you want to be an international person, and if you want to travel and work, this is something that you can learn. And if you like to work, for example, in Barbados Island or whatever, you can work there. And you also you always can find a lot of opportunities, because there are a lot of necessities of engineers around the world. So this is like my message. If you really like to solve customer necessities, and if you really like to create new things, this is a great field where you can you can join, and you can do in things that you don't have in your mind right now. So, and there is something that is not really hard. You only can use the technologies and tools available, and you will realize that there is something that is not like very complicated. It's just invest some effort, as like, if you really like, for example, sports, or if you like to study, I don't know, literature, this is like another kind of field. So just invest some time and effort and do some research and just dive in this.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you have time for one more round, so you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I was thinking about the thing about the engineers being needed all around the world, and what kind of apps do you think like the world needs? Like, for example, like Guy proposed UCP making an app, or how can we make an app that actually helps the world, or what kind of apps, like for example information ones, learning languages apps, or things like that, especially in this like quarantine where everyone is like going through digital things. Like, we needed digitalize many things. Now we need it even more because we cannot go to many places now. So what kind of apps do you think we actually need to develop so we can progress in this world?
Okay, right now I think our necessities have changed a little bit because of COVID situations. So I think it will be a good idea to create more applications related with virtual traveling, because most of them like really like travel, but we are not allowed to travel for a period of time that I don't know how much time we are going to have these situations. But I think this kind of application, when you share information about wonderful places, also we need application where we can find real information about what is happening, and about the situation in different countries. So kind of useful information for everyone, and information that is in a language that is able to understand for most of us. So, and also I think this kind of application, like as I mentioned in my presentation, able is an application where you can chat with person around the world. So we need more application of this kind of style, because at the end we need, because we are not able to travel. We need to be in touch with people that are around the world. So this kind of application help us to solve this kind of situation in a different way. So application um, for virtual meetings, for chatting, and do calls around the world. Good idea. Also application for information, when we can share information about what is happening in our country, on different countries. And also application when you share great experience or pictures or videos and things like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my next question is related to the risk of social media in general, because we all know the misinformation that's out there, and things that people, there's no single day that goes by without people being victim, because maybe they download something on an app, or they send some information, someone send an email saying that click on this and things like that. So for all the people that are watching this, and you being in the, you work with the bank, so the bank is all about security first. What are some of the things that you share to people that are using apps day in and day out, young people, to be careful about? What are some of the red flags that are out there? So because young people, they just sometimes jump in there and just start giving all the information here and there and things like that, without sometimes realizing that they need to be a little extra careful. So in a nutshell, what advice will you give to the people to the people that are using apps all the time? What to look for, what to be careful about, so that they don't end up maybe giving too much information out or being victim of fraud?
Okay. So yeah, my first advice is, I know that most of us don't do it, but I really recommend that before you put your information in a specific site, you check the privacy and the security settings of that application. This way, you can know how much control do you have of your information, because if they have a lot of option in their settings, you know that you can personalize the information that we want to share with others, and it's up to you. But if you don't have this option available, and you don't find the way that you can control the information that you're sharing with others, this is not a good sign. So if you don't find that privacy option, and you don't have like multiple personalization option, my recommendation is try to not join in that application, because you don't really know how this application is gonna use your information. So this is my first recommendation. I know that is hard because I can say that I never pay attention of that, but if you really want to be if you really want to protect, or if you are concerned about the protection of your information, this is one step when you can start. Also, the other recommendation that I want to give you is with the when we send the credit card or the banking information to some web page, so you have to you have to check that this web page has the HTTPS word at the beginning of the link, because if you don't find that this web page is secure, this is not a good idea to put your credit card information, because it doesn't have like the lock in the name of the link. It's likely that someone can steal your credit card information and just with that information buy products in another web page. And so be careful with that. Check the security options with in the availables in the web page, especially if you are going to add your credit card information. And please just try to buy things in known sites. If you don't know the site, and if you don't have if you never have heard about that site, it's better to buy things through sites that you really know, that they are that sites that are like that you like have done purchases before. So yeah, this is like my recommendations to you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another 2 minutes, and the question I'm going to follow up, because I just want also, a lot of people have heard about this term called dark web. So what is a dark web? Because that's thing, because again, it's about security. What is dark web? Is it that dark?
I can you repeat the question, because I lost the sign, please?
Yeah, I said there's a term people use recently, the dark website, the dark, the website that people don't see, where a lot of bad things happen over there. They steal people information. Do you know anything about that? They call it the dark website. There'll be some article in the Washington Post on that.
Yes, it's like this is kind of I mean, you have to be very, very careful with this kind of application where you share information and you don't know what is happening with your information. This is something that is like a huge problem right now, because at the end you share your information, but you don't have control of the information that you put there. So as I told you, my recommendation is, if you don't trust the application, if you don't know the application, please don't share your personal information, don't share your credit card information, because what is someone take that information and do identity theft, and then you realize in your banking account that someone has have done a purchase for you, and it could be a nightmare. So yeah, there are a kind of this kind of application that has problems with the security. They have data leak, and if you want to avoid that, you have to build an application that when from the beginning you apply security policies, and you have to check the laws of the country, because with the laws you can have some guide to develop applications that are secure, that are trust, and you can just yeah, you can just have like the right policies in your application. Because I don't know if I mentioned that when you lose when you develop an application and you lose user because they don't trust your application, it's very difficult to try to get this user go back to your app.
Okay, thank you very much. Zugatti, like to conclude, say some few things.
Well, yes, of course. I would like to thank you very much for your time, also for teaching us what to do with our apps, how to develop them, what is needed. I think we had very good experience knowing what to do and what not to do with our apps. I mean, they might seem like obvious things, but well, they are not. Like checking the comments, like you telling us to give feedback to our own apps. Maybe we don't like it, we don't want to waste 1 minute of our lives giving a comment on our app, but that might be important for us to better the apps that we like. So thank you very much. And well, I think we don't have any more time for questions, but
Thank
thank
you
you a
so
lot
much.
for your time.
Thank you for your time and for
Thank you
sharing
so much.
your questions. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
You have a wonderful day. I'll be reaching out to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.